Good morning, this is Mona and this is my morning view. This is April 24th and this is Thirsty Thinking Thursday. Got blinded by the sun for a second. All right, before we get going, let's go ahead and hit subscribe right there. Hit your subscribe button. Moving right along. Today, Thirsty Thinking Thursday, we're talking about different things that are in the Bible that don't necessarily get talked about a lot. They are little nuggets of information that aren't talked about in churches. They're not talked about in Bible studies. People reading them, they glaze over them. And so in particular, I was talking about when Paul said that he knew a man that was caught up in the third heaven. And so when I mentioned this, people looked at me like I had three heads and said, what are you talking about, a third heaven? And I'm like, well, we know that there's at least three because Paul talked about it. That would be in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. Very rarely do I have the address for you, but I had to look it up the other day when the conversation happened when I didn't have the address. So I happen to remember it now that it's a couple of days past. So we were talking about in Revelations about when John was in the Spirit. I said, what does in the Spirit mean? I was asking them, not for their sake, not for my sake. I know what that means. So when they said in the Spirit, what does that mean? And so we were talking about this space of there's this practice that people are encouraged to do in my circle of friends of taking 2 minutes of silence. Well, sometimes I have to take 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or longer to get 2 minutes of silence in this brain. And so I said, with that silence, with that discipline of silence, that's where you get things like that revelation of being caught up in the third heaven, whether in the body or out of the body. They don't know. Paul said he doesn't know. So how do you get those experiences? It's through the discipline of spending silence with God, and more than 2 minutes, believe me, more than 2 minutes. And it doesn't necessarily mean anything is happening for a very long time, but that one moment, that moment of encounter with God, right when you were like, I'm doing this out of obedience. I'm doing this because I want to spend time with God. I want to invest time with God. Hit subscribe, like, share, notifications, get all the bells and whistles. Bless